everybody out there in Facebook land. Thank you so much for joining us once again for our nightly virtual jazz club concert. For those of you who are new here tonight, we are Laura Dubin and Antonio Guerrero. We've been doing these concerts every night at the same time since we began this new era that we're all living in just about 2.5 weeks ago, almost 3 weeks ago. And it's really been the highlight of our day to share our music with you every evening. It's been such a pleasure for us, and we've so appreciated having such a supportive audience. Not only our friends in Rochester, but far beyond Rochester, in other cities and countries. And it's just been so great being able to share our music with you. Tonight, we'd like to start off with a tune that we recorded on our second album called Laura Dubin Plays the Great American Songbook. And this is a jazz standard called How About You? And I actually first heard this tune in an I Love Lucy episode. So for those of you who have been watching our concerts the last few weeks, you know how much I love Lucy. I've talked about it a couple times. We played the I Love Lucy theme song a few weeks ago in our one of our concerts. And I think we did a couple other songs that I had learned from that show. And one of the reasons it's my favorite TV show is not only just because it's hilarious, but I actually learned so much great music from there. Not only Latin music, because of course Desi Arnaz, Ricky Ricardo, had his orchestra, and they performed on almost every episode of the show. So I learned so much music from them, but I also learned a lot of jazz standards from watching Lucy. And this is one of those tunes. It's called How About You? And this comes from an episode where Lucy was dancing with the movie star Van Johnson. It's from the period of time when Lucy and Ricky went out to Hollywood. Ricky was starring in a movie, and somehow Van Johnson was performing at the hotel where they were staying. And of course, Lucy, being who she is, somehow ended up sneaking into his act, but they ended up becoming dance partners in this episode. And so that is how I learned this song. Of course, it existed long before they used it in a Lucy episode, but that was where I first fell in love with this song called How About You? So this is our arrangement of How About You from our album Laura Dubin Plays the Great American Songbook. Great American Songbook classic called How About You. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you're enjoying the music, or just if you're here watching with us, please leave us a comment and say hello. We'd love to know where you're watching from. It's great for us to know how far our music is traveling. And for those of you who might be here for the first time tonight, after we play the music, we've got 6 tunes on the program, or 5 left. After the music ends, we'd love to stick around and say hello to you all in real time and chat with you all for a few minutes. So it's great if you want to leave a comment, we can know who's listening and we'll say hello to you at the end. Yeah. I always see them popping up here on my screen, but I usually can't tell while we're playing who's commenting, but it's always really fun for us to see who's watching afterward. So thank you so much. We'd like to play another tune that comes from the same album that we recorded in 2015, another Great American Songbook piece. This is our arrangement of Cole Porter's I Get a Kick Out of You, and it's a little bit different than the original song in that most of it is in 3/4 time. It was originally in 4/4, and it's also got a couple different key changes and fun little surprises thrown in there, so we hope you enjoy this. was our arrangement of Cole Porter's I Get a Kick Out of You. And you can hear our version of that. Oh, let me tell that story. So I was going to say, you can hear our version of that tune on our album, Laura Dubin Plays the Great American Songbook. And thank you for reminding me of this story. So the first time I ever remember hearing this song was on a vinyl record. My mom has a record of Ella Fitzgerald singing the Cole Porter songbook. And this might have been like Thanksgiving or, I don't know, sometime we were all having a big dinner at our house. And it's the first time I remember hearing this song. Maybe I had heard it before. But I remember during dinner, this record was playing and it started skipping. But I don't think anybody realized it because we were having dinner and, you know, there was conversation going on. But I heard it in the living room skipping. And so she was going, I get a kick out of you, out of you, out of you, out of you. That hissing sound was just like, I don't know, the sound of the needle or something. Yeah. Suddenly I was like, is that how the song goes? I think that was before I really knew how record players worked, so I didn't really understand what was going on. But then my mom was like, oh, the record is skipping. So now I learned what that was. So
we always have the local joke when you talk, like, out of you, out of you.
Or inside joke, yeah, exactly. So if you're enjoying the music tonight, feel free to head on over to lauradubin.com. There is a link right in the video here. And if you'd like to show your support for what we're doing, you can download all of our albums. We've got 7 albums for you to choose from. And on the same page, you will see, if you scroll down, you'll see a place where you can make a donation of any amount that you choose. There are several amounts there that you can choose from, but you can also adjust any of them by changing the quantity. And if you go to the bottom of the same page, you can also become a monthly patron of Laura Dubin Jazz. So you'll see a link that will say subscribe, and you'll become like a monthly subscriber. And it will take you to a secure PayPal checkout. There are several monthly amounts that you can choose from to contribute, like as an automatic credit card payment. And you'll set everything up through PayPal. It stores your information securely, so we have no access to any of your bank information or anything like that. And my website is also secure. However, if you want to make a donation but you prefer not to do it online, feel free to send me a private message here on Facebook and we can talk about another method. If you're unable to make a financial contribution at this time, that's okay. We really appreciate you being here, listening to our music. It really means a lot to us, and I know that those of you who have been watching our videos every night have you've heard me say this every night, but I really mean it sincerely. We both really mean it from the bottom of our hearts when we say that, how much we appreciate you being here listening to our music.
Thank you. Thank you, all our friends and family.
Yes, your support really means the world to us, especially during this time when everything is so uncertain. We're so grateful to have your support. Let's see, we'd like to continue with a beautiful piece of music from Brazil, and the composer of this piece is named Jacob de Bandolim. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. This is a tune called Doce de Coco, which apparently means coconut candy in Portuguese. And I first learned this tune from Fred Hirsch. We've played a few of Fred's pieces this week, or this last couple of weeks. We played some of his arrangements or some pieces that were inspired by his arrangements. And he recorded this on a live album that he released in 2011 called Alone at the Vanguard, which was a solo performance that he gave at the Village Vanguard in New York. Fred Hirsch was actually the first pianist in history to perform solo at the Vanguard, to have like a complete week of solo performances. So if you haven't been to the Village Vanguard before, it's a really famous jazz club in New York City, in Greenwich Village, which is why it's called the Village Vanguard. And typically, a music group will not just perform there for one night. They'll have like an entire week where they'll play every night, 2 concerts per night. And apparently Fred Hirsch was the first pianist to ever do that as a solo pianist. So that's quite an amazing accomplishment. And his photo is up on the wall there now. They've got photos of all these great musicians there, and Fred is one of the featured musicians there. So anyway, this piece was recorded on his live album from the Village Vanguard that he released in 2011. And it's called Doce de Coco. And I just can't be in a bad mood after hearing or playing this piece. It's just so happy. So we hope it'll bring you some joy right now.
It's so tasty too.
The second I Love Lucy reference. One more little I Love Lucy joke. If you're looking at this candy here, it's so tasty too. It's just like candy. If you know what I'm talking about, wave. Put the little hand emoji in the comments. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll explain it later. That was called Doce de Coco, also known as coconut candy. I am guessing that that must also be the name of a very specific type of dessert. I need to do some further research into it. If anybody happens to know about that, let me know, because I'd love to try and make it. Now that we're home, I got more time to do some cooking and baking, so that's one of the upsides of this period of time right now. I always want to do more of that and never seem to have enough time on my hands, so now it's a good chance to do that. So next we'd like to play a piece by the legendary saxophonist Wayne Shorter, who is actually one of the few legendary jazz musicians who is still with us. He's had a very long career as a composer and performer and recording artist. And this piece was recorded, I believe, in the 1960s on his album called Speak No Evil. And I just love this album. It's one of my favorite, what I like to call a rainy day album. So when I'm in that kind of mood, when, you know, it's raining outside and the weather's a little bit dreary, but you want like some good music to pick you up. But at the same time, you kind of want to listen to some music that sort of reflects that beauty, like the beauty of what's going on outside, but maybe it's a little bit beautiful in a mysterious kind of way. I think this album really kind of has that vibe to it. It's got so many great tracks, and this is one of the tunes that comes from that album. It's called Fee Fi Fo Fum, which I imagine he must have been reading Jack and the Beanstalk around the time he composed this piece. called Fee Fi Fo Fum. That is so much fun to say, by the great saxophonist and composer Wayne Shorter. And that's one of those tunes that I just wish I had been a fly on the wall when Wayne Shorter was composing this piece. There are several pieces of music in the world that I feel that way about. I would have loved to have either been in the room when the musician was composing the tune, because I just would have loved to know their thought process on how, in this case, I would have loved to know how Wayne Shorter came up with all the different harmonies and the quirky things and the melody there. It's just got so many like interesting little surprises there, and it's just so cool, and it really keeps you on your toes while you're playing it and while you're listening to it too. So
the accent's always in unexpected place.
Yes, exactly. So instead of just being like da, 3, 4, it's never right where you expect it to be. So that's one really interesting thing about it. Yeah. Next, we'd like to play an original composition of mine. We've got just a few tunes left, and like I said earlier, if you're enjoying the music, please leave a comment and say hello, because we'd love to say hello to you in real life after the performance ends. We love to stick around and chat with you all for a few minutes. Next, we'd like to play an original composition, and you can hear this on our album called Rhapsody, which we released in 2018. And maybe some of you out there can relate to this piece. It's called Insomnia, which if you've ever gotten an email from me, you're probably aware that I have insomnia, because you might have noticed that I sent it at 2 or 3 in the morning. And sometimes I think I have insomnia. Other times it's really just, I'm a natural night owl. And sometimes instead of trying to fight it, because if I try going to bed at like a reasonable hour, that's when my brain just starts saying all this stuff. You got to do this tomorrow, blah, 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 blah. What about this and this and this? And I'm sure many of you can relate to that, especially during this uncertain period of time that we're all living through now. But sometimes instead of fighting that, I just stay awake, and that's when I have kind of my very productive hours of the day. So if you've ever gotten an email from me at that time, that's what I'm up doing sometimes. So anyway, maybe you can relate to this. This is called Insomnia, and there are kind of 2 different sections of this piece. The most obvious sounding part, the very rhythmic part, is kind of the way that your brain is at night when you're trying to fall asleep, but your brain just won't stop talking. And then there's like a little bit more of a calm part, which let's say that's the part where you're trying to calm yourself down and fall asleep, but inevitably the brain talking always is the one that wins. So that's the more prominent element that you'll hear in this piece. And I found these really fun pictures of insomnia on the internet. What did you just say? Did you say namaste? Namaste. Exactly. There's one namaste section of this piece, and then it gets all rhythmic again.
I don't know why. Namaste.
Why not? That girl totally looks like me sometimes when I'm suffering from that at night.
me.
He doesn't look quite like you. That was I'm not sure if you were in the camera when you did that. Wait, do it again, but lower your head a little bit. That was an original composition of mine called Insomnia. Maybe there are some folks out there who can relate to that. If so, that was for you. Well, we've got one more tune for you, and then that will be all the music for tonight, but we will stick around and chat with you all for a few minutes afterward. We will be, of course, back here again tomorrow night at the same time, and every night until the end of time as of right now. We're really grateful to have the chance to share our music with you during this time. If you're enjoying what you're hearing tonight, please head on over to lauradubin.com after we play this last tune. There's a link right in the video here, and it'll actually take you to the music/store page of my website. And there are 3 ways that you can show your support if you're interested. One is you can download our albums. We've got 7 albums for you to choose from. You'll find them all on that page. There's little icons of the album covers there, and if you click on each one, you'll find out the information about them. You can also make a one-time donation. There are several amounts that you can choose from, but you can adjust any of them to your liking by changing the quantity. And you can also become a monthly patron of Laura Dubin Jazz. So that's the very last option that you'll see if you scroll to the bottom of the same page. And you can set up a monthly recurring credit card payment through PayPal. It's a secure site. There are several amounts that you can choose from to contribute each month, and that's just a great way to show your ongoing support if you're enjoying these videos and you would like to see us continue doing them as long as possible. So we would so appreciate your support if you're able to. If you're not able to do so at this time, that's absolutely okay. Again, we really are so grateful that you're here listening to the music, watching the videos, and sharing them with your friends. We've really appreciated everybody who's shared our videos on their own Facebook pages, because our audience has actually grown significantly just in the last 2.5, almost 3 weeks, thanks to our friends and family who have been sharing our videos. So we really can't thank you enough for that. If you're watching this on my personal Facebook page, and you have not liked my Facebook music page, Laura Dubin Jazz, please head on over there and give it a like, and then that way you'll be notified every time we do a live video or anytime I post any other kind of music update. Let's see, what else? I'm trying to go through my whole mental checklist here.
A big thank you for our friends and family who has been supported this.
Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate all of you who've been watching.
We don't want to
these
say
weeks.
Names because
Just to respect people's privacy, yeah.
But thank you all.
Yeah, thank you so much. And actually, one quick thing I was going to mention was to, if you haven't joined my mailing list, you can send me your email address in a private message here, or you can go to the homepage of my website and just scroll until you see the thing that says join Laura's mailing list, and you can type your email address there, and that way you'll be the first to know whenever there's an important update. So without further ado, we'd like to play our last piece. This is such a fun tune to play. This is a composition by the great bebop saxophonist Charlie Parker called Donna Lee. And this is actually a contrafact, which means a tune that is based on the chords of a pre-existing song, but it's got a new melody. This is a contrafact of a tune called Back Home Again in Indiana. This is Charlie Parker's Donna Lee.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Cool.
that is all the music for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Feel free to head on over to lauradubin.com if you'd like to make a contribution. But if you're unable to do so at this time, that's okay. We really just appreciate you being here with us. It's meant the world to us to still have an audience to share our music with during these last few weeks. And we're really looking forward to continuing this. So I'd like to just whip out my phone here for a second and see who's been commenting here. I saw a few comments pop up while we were playing, but I couldn't really tell who it was. Let's see. Hola! Thank you for sharing our video again. Thank you so much for watching. Muchas gracias. Let's see here. So I've got this video in 2 different places. It's on my my personal Facebook page as well as my Facebook music page. So I'm just gonna check both places here, just to make sure I don't miss anybody. Ooh, a lot of people are watching tonight. Linda! Hey, Linda, thank you for watching.
Thank you, Linda.
She says that she has a clapping symbol with your name after it. I think she's saying, "Yeah, Antonio!" Woo!
Thank you, Linda.
Oh, it's after your and Bob. Hey, Bob and Sue, thank you for watching again.
Yeah.
Bob says he liked your solo on "How About You." Maybe that's the one that Linda was also talking about. Yeah.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. Hi, Greg Marshall. Great to see you again. Thank you so much for watching here.
Greg Marshall.
Yeah. We miss seeing you in real life. So I think we just saw you at Native Eatery the last time we played there, which was like, was it like 2 months ago or something?
Something like that.
Yeah.
He was with his wife and I think
there were a couple of friends of yours there that night.
In-laws or
yeah, it might have. Yeah. You'll have to correct us if.
I remember because I recommended to him to go to the Smalls in New York City.
Oh right.
You had a good time there.
Yeah.
You had a chance to go.
Yeah. Although I don't know if he'll be going there now because now the city's kind of closed down.
Well, he was like 2 months ago. So
oh, okay. Yeah, maybe you've gone. Hopefully you ended up going there before all this happened.
Thank you for watching, Greg.
Yeah. Linda says, I caught that stick flip, Antonio, on the Cole Porter piece.
Ah.
Yeah. Oh, your mom liked your drum solo too. Woo!
Oh, thank you, Mom.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. I might be biased, but I think Antonio's the best drummer ever.
Oh, no.
So, I love every solo that you do. So,
Oh,
and,
I love you, Kiki.
Aw. People probably wonder why you just call me Kiki. It's one of Antonio's pet names for me. Don't ask me why he calls me that, because I honestly don't even remember where it came from at this point.
It's just love. It's pure love. It's pure love.
Bob says dessert research is fun. Yes, that must have been when we played Dolce de Coco. It really is. It's the best kind of research, I think. Anything involving sweets.
Oh, yes.
In fact, I'm wondering if that was what Horace Silver wrote sweet stuff about.
Probably.
Yeah. Jack, thank you for watching again. Jack and Bonnie, great to see you both.
Yeah, Jack,
through Facebook.
We miss you, Jack.
Yeah, he says he loved the Wayne Shorter tune. Beautifully played by you both. Thank you.
Yes.
That is such a fun tune to play. And like we said a few minutes ago, I've never really heard any other composition like that before. And I think Wayne Shorter was really a master of writing tunes like that. I shouldn't say is a master of that. He's still with us today. But yeah, his compositions all have something like really different about them and in a good way. Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's Elvin Jones in that album. Do you know?
Let's find out because I've got the cover right here.
Well,
I should have known off the top of my head. Here it is. It is Elvin Jones.
Elvin Jones, yeah, yes, it's because
Elvin Jones, Ron Carter, and Herbie Hancock.
Yeah,
with Freddie Hubbard on the trumpet and Wayne Shorter, of course, on the saxophone. What a great combination that is. Woo.
Yes. Thank you, Jack, for your comment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Donna, thank you for watching again.
Hey, Donna.
She says, Dolce de Coco sounds delicious, and it's an easy recipe. Ooh, I hope that's true. I took lots of photos at the Lucy and Desi Museum in Jamestown. Now I feel like eating chocolate nonstop. Oh my gosh, this is like the best comment I've ever seen. Your music is just like a box of chocolates, a great variety, satisfying to our eyes, ears, and soul. Oh my gosh, thank you, Donna. That is like the best compliment ever, especially for this chocolate lover over here.
Yeah, you're so kind,
yeah, thank you so much. Oh, and Jack says, and Bonnie and I both loved Insomnia. the song, the song, not the condition. Yes, I agree. Yeah, not so much fun to have, but it's certainly it was a fun piece of music to write.
Yeah. Thank you, Bonnie, for being listening to.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oops. I'm pulling over to my other Facebook page here. Let's see. Looks like my dad was watching. Hi, Dad! Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you, Jan.
Yay! We miss you. This period of time is so weird, not being able to see people, even our own family. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Lisa Clement is watching again. Hi, Lisa. Thank you so much for watching again. So great to see you here through Facebook.
Lisa Mancini?
Lisa Clement.
Lisa Clement.
From the George Eastman Museum. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, she's watched our videos several times the last few weeks.
I remember her.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, if anybody, I made that comment about the candy before when I said, it's so tasty too. If anybody was watching earlier when I said that, that's a reference to the Vitamita Vegemin episode of I Love Lucy. This is like this maybe the third or fourth night we've brought up Lucy while we were playing here. But the Vitamita Vegemin, for those of you who haven't seen this episode of I Love Lucy, and if you haven't seen it, you gotta find a way to watch it because it's like the funniest thing ever. So Lucy is doing a TV commercial, which of course she wasn't supposed to do, but she kind of told the girl who was supposed to do this commercial that she can just go home for the day, and Lucy just took over her job. And it was a commercial for a medicine called Vitamita Vegemin, made of vitamins, meat, vegetables, and minerals. And the slogan is, with Vitamita Vegemin, you can spoon your way to health. And you just take a tablespoonful after every meal. And so what she does is she actually takes a spoonful of this medicine and eats it. And she says, it's so tasty too. And then she drinks it. And then she says, it's just like candy. But of course it tastes horrible. So it's like, it's so tasty too. Just like candy. Yeah. I'm not sure. Oh, it was? Okay, cool. I wasn't sure if it was. So if you haven't seen that, I highly recommend finding out a way to watch that. I don't know if it's not on Netflix, but maybe it's on Amazon Prime, or maybe there's like a bootleg version on YouTube or something. I don't know.
6 a.m. in some channel.
Yeah, exactly. On the what's that channel? Me TV.
No,
I think.
on Laugh.
Oh, on Laugh. Laff.
Well,
I don't remember. See, we've got them all in DVDs, so we don't need to watch them at 6 in the morning, because this insomniac doesn't really normally get up at that time unless she has to. So anyway, thank you all so much for being with us again tonight. We've so appreciated your support, and we look forward to seeing you back here again tomorrow night. Stay healthy and safe. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
all.
you, everyone.
Thank you for watching.